Well, get a load of this. A Fairfax County public high school in Virginia under fire for demanding students participate in, quote, privilege bingo. These so-called privileges include being white, heterosexual, Christian, feeling safe around police officers, and coming from a military family. Well, one veteran parent is speaking out. Listen.
My kids, for most of their lives, had never had a blood relative that wasn't a parent at a birthday, at a Christmas, at a Thanksgiving, because we lived 1,500 miles from the nearest relative. And to look at them and to say that they're privileged because their military family is absolutely unacceptable.
Well, Fairfax County Public Schools releasing a statement later saying, quote, FCPS recognizes and honors the experiences of all our families, including those in service to our country in the military. We have revised this activity. We apologize for any offense it may have unintentionally caused. Well, here now with reaction is Nicole Neily, Parents Defending Education founder and Speech First president. Nicole, thanks for joining us. I want to start by just getting your reaction to that father speaking out on behalf of his kids being called privileged because their family served this country in the military. Your thoughts?
My heart breaks for him. I actually went to Arlington Cemetery today to visit my brother. We don't feel very privileged. Neither do families that have to send a loved one overseas, put them in harm's way. Let's think about the military suicide rates compared to the general population. It is disgusting that a public school system would put this in their approved curriculum. Remember, this is approved. And so we have filed public records requests to figure out who approved the curriculum and what else is in that, because this raises more questions than the school has answered.
All right, Nicole, dig into that for me for just a second, because I think this is the whole issue. You have these things pop up like privilege bingo, which how in the world does that even get into a school? But the answer is it's part of a curriculum. Some group of bureaucrats in that system approved a curriculum that creates the doorway for that to come in. How do you uproot these kinds of things without going to that level and uprooting the curriculum? Nicole, talk about that.
Right. And it raises a great question because, I mean, as we see in California when they passed their ethnic studies curriculum, social studies curriculum is up this year in Minnesota, in D.C. What kinds of things are being injected into these curriculum behind closed doors that then force parents to file public records requests? Because when they ask their teachers for information about this, they're stonewalled. And we deserve to know what our children are learning and who's been involved in these processes.
Nicole, how transparent are school curriculums? If a parent wants to know the curriculum, do they have to fight for it? Do they have to go to the Freedom of Information request? Or are these things posted publicly so that anybody could see at any time what kids are learning?
It's absolutely opaque. Very, very rarely is it public. It's appalling that Texas has something called a 3-click law, where you have to be able to get from a public university's homepage to a class syllabus within 3 clicks. And so you can know what a college sophomore in Texas is learning, but not what a kindergartner in that state is learning. And so the fact that parents have to file these public records requests, often pay money because the districts will charge people for their time, and then they don't even get everything they want. When we file records requests, we're often stonewalled and we don't get responsive records, or things are redacted. And so it's impossible for parents to know what's going on, and that's disrespectful. These are our tax dollars, so this is unacceptable.
Nicole, there's this culture in public education that's becoming more and more evident, and we've heard the words actually that say the parent is not the client. The parent shouldn't have a say. I don't think parents want to be treated like clients necessarily. They want to be treated like people who matter and who are informed about what's going on in these classrooms. So often it feels like you've got to peek in through the back door, through that Zoom meeting if you want to figure it out. Nicole, Glenn Youngkin is doing a lot of work down in Virginia on this. Do you see the prospects for success for him rising as a result of some stories like this one?
Absolutely. I mean, people are appalled to find out what is taking place behind closed doors. Glenn Youngkin listened to parents' voices and actually responded, whereas people like the Michigan Democratic Party that had a social media post over the weekend saying, schools or public schools are there because, you know, we're supposed to teach children how to function in society. You're not the stakeholders, basically. We are. How dare you? And that's why we have seen this mama bear uprising over the past year, because people are indignant that these bureaucrats think they know better than we do what our children should learn and how they should learn it. At the end of the day, they're our children. We will fight for them.
And the roots of these curricula, the roots of these activities that your students are doing, they go deep. They go deep into the bureaucracy. It takes a lot of work to fight that fight. But Nicole, you do it one problem at a time like this. Appreciate your perspective on an important issue. Thank you.
Thank you.